Welcome to the Perpetual Incompetence podcast, a journey in competitive self-improvement.
Join us as the three of us endeavor to improve our lives by competing in a series of low-stakes challenges.
In each episode, we will come up with a challenge and then define the rules or metrics for victory.
We'll have 2 weeks to do our best, and at the end, one of us will be crowned victor. Hi, I'm Mike Collins.
Hello, I'm Dan Collins.
And I'm Travis Brabin, the postal pile driver and bearer of the incompetent cup of iridescent splendor. We each have one idea for a challenge for us to attempt in the next 2 weeks. After we've all presented, we will decide whose idea is the best. Who wants to go first?
I can go for it. It's just very funny. It would be very funny if you keep winning and we don't win. You just have a very long name.
Just an increasingly illustrious name.
Mike Mann and the Lord of all creation.
Yeah, I support
success incarnate, Travis Brabin.
I can go here. My idea for a challenge is to scream. Just scream it out, guys. Just get that frustration. Scream, yell and scream. Just throw it out. Just get it out of there. There's a therapy called primal scream therapy where you just scream and you flail. There's more to it, but that's the part I really care about, and I just want us to just scream once or twice a day, and that's it. Just get it, and we're talking. Don't just not like it's a real
roar,
a man's roar, a lion's roar. You know what I mean?
We can involve the kids in this one.
Yeah, oh yeah, I bet they probably go crazy for it. I don't think my dog would probably like it very much, but
that's when you say that, and my thought immediately goes to where can I do this where the police won't be contacted?
Oh, yeah. they have suggested places like your car or something like that.
Nice, you're driving down the road kind of thing.
Yeah, just let it out.
Is it? I mean, what are the benefits? What's sell me on it?
Don't worry about it. I mean, it's there's mixed reviews about it, but I just feel like it's something that's worth trying.
So I
could imagine there's some sort of catharsis there. Some
catharsis, yeah, a release. It actually gets the blood kind of flowing a little bit. There's some people that say that it's not really that good of a thing, depending on where your mind's at when you do it. But if you just sort of your body becomes okay. I have an article open. Your body becomes more alert. You release tension in the muscles. You release bottled up emotions. Screaming literally gives voice to your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably some benefits in there, but I feel like it's I sort of purposefully didn't read super deep into it because that's part of the process here.
Sure. I am intrigued, I would say. Paint me intrigued.
I wonder if there's enough meat on the bone there, but it is an interesting thing that I've never even considered trying. So maybe this is the cold water challenge of this season.
Sure. I mean, I would say I never tried it except for 3 months of boot camp, which is basically what we did the whole time.
Yeah, just a whole lot of confused screaming.
Well, there was some anger in there, some frustration. Yes. Okay. All right.
I will go next. Mike, I think you and I have talked a little bit about this at work over the years, but I think there's a problem that many people have, I would say even most people have, that they are not aware of, and that it can become quite easy to maintain your beliefs that you hold very strongly without ever entertaining ideas that challenge your beliefs. You can become too rigid in the things that you think are true without ever actually kind of having any introspective, reflective thoughts or basically you never challenge yourself. So I think for this challenge, we should do as much as we can to change our own minds on something that we hold at least strongly currently. So this is pretty nebulous, but I think that we would have to find some things that we have strong opinions on and do as much as we possibly can to research or give as much weight as we can to the other side of that perspective, and then
Would
see
it
if we can't move anything.
would it be like would the goal be to change our minds, or would it be to open ourselves up to the possibility of change? Like, get ready for some cognitive dissonance, prep the body for it, because it is totally a physical reaction.
Yeah, I think
Because I don't know if I like, because changing a mind I guess is be something that you know would have to debate, but
And we'd
like,
have to be pretty careful with this one because we have said that we're not getting political or religious on this show.
yep, for sure. It would require a little bit of creativity, and like there are many opinions that I have and hold strongly that are about pop culture, or who's your favorite Star Trek captain, or
Sure.
we can navigate that problem.
Yeah.
But to your question, Mike, I think we can't promise, you can't force yourself to change your own mind. I think it is truly just putting effort into entertaining the other side of an opinion that you hold.
so like just live in the world of the opposition, basically.
Yep.
Live
Yep.
there, live there for a little bit. Okay.
That reminds me a lot of the Justin Bieber challenge where we sort
It
of,
does. It's kind of akin to
yeah.
the similar sort of thing. And in fact, what pops in mind of a benign thing to go is like find a style of music that is I do not enjoy and kind of live in it. But we've done that twice now, so I have to find something else to
Yeah.
do.
You don't enjoy yodeling?
Oh, I do, and I enjoy Justin Bieber too. So like, I guess that we found that that's the result. If you live in it long enough, you may start to enjoy it.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's fine. What do you got, Mike?
yeah, okay. So mine kind of is based around the concept that our body is a temple, and and you can keep yourself pure by abstaining from certain things. And in this case, I think we should keep our bodies chaste of the devil's protein and go gluten free for 2 weeks.
Oh, I would have been okay with like meatless, but gluten free.
So, I mean, people say it's good. I don't know. I tried it once a long time ago, and then I realized, hey, bread is basically the best thing ever.
I don't
All
even
wheat
know.
products.
I mean, I'd have to spend like the first week just figuring out how to do that.
I mean, yeah, and I'm not exactly sure how we would judge that. I suppose it would be who lived the best gluten-free lifestyle for 2 weeks.
Who ate the least grams of gluten?
Yeah, the least
I
amount of
I
wheat.
Can we change it to not be, because like gluten isn't intrinsically bad for you. There are some people who it is bad for, but I guess I want to push back that this is necessarily an improvement. Other than restricting yourself of something, there's value there, but I think that gluten isn't inherently bad, so I'm questioning the value of
Well,
limiting that.
I've heard from a lot of people. Yes, there's people with, was it celiac disease, that
Yeah.
they're like basically allergic to it. But um there is a very large portion of the population out there uh that say if you go gluten free, you're a lot of the aches and pains that you have because gluten is inflammatory, is what they say. I don't know if it's true, but that's why we'd try it for 2 weeks
That
and
sounds
see.
like a bunch of hooey to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That
Humanity has lived on bread for like
but
centuries.
by saying that, Dan, you just put a whole bunch of people in their UGG boots right on edge. And
I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot, but I'd have to do some
an
research to
army
figure
of
out.
yoga pants and UGG boots coming your way. Uh, but no, like, I don't know. That's what people say. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying maybe we should try it, and
All
that would be
right.
the challenge.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like that, man. I wanna, like I would happily give up a number of other things. Bread is a staple in my household.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It's a staple of humanity, Travis.
Well, what in Western societies, in Eastern societies, it's more of a rice situation. But
Well,
isn't
what
rice full of
place it
gluten?
That's
depends
not
on the type of rice.
Oh.
yeah, now I need to do research.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't what is gluten? Isn't it just like a type of sugar?
It's a protein that grows in wheat that makes bread the best. It's like what makes it chewy and delicious. Yeah.
I like that though.
Yeah, everyone
those
does.
are good things. Those are those are good qualities for food to have.
It's like it just reminds me of like the MSG thing where like for some reason everybody thought MSG was the worst thing in the world. It's just like good salt. Like that's all it
Yeah.
is. It just makes stuff
Well, the whole
taste
that
good.
that whole thing has been debunked, and that it was basically like racist, and that people were like, they labeled MSG as bad because it was in a lot of Chinese food, and they didn't want people to. I think it was like competitor marketing is why MSG got a bad name.
Yeah. Unfortunately a lot of nutrition information we get is marketing. Which is
Yeah, that's
depressing.
Yeah,
that's very true. And I think that's yeah, doubly true for gluten-free products.
Yeah.
Uh, but,
Or
you know,
like all natural or like
yeah,
what is it? Organic. Like these words
yeah.
mean literally nothing.
At least not in the sense that well, because like any food that you eat, if we're talking technically scientifically, organic means was it carbon based? So yes, most food is organic. I would say, in fact, for your body to process it, it kind of needs to be organic. So, but anyway,
I feel like
that's a whole
we're
nother.
saying things that are offensive to people. Let's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, here, clarification question.
Yes,
Uh, they say that oats are not allowed in some cases because they may be contaminated during the production of wheat, barley, or rye.
that sounds
Is
like the
oat
kind of thing we could completely ignore. I
all
would
right? Because oatmeal is good and good for you. So, all right,
does oatmeal
I
have gluten?
no oats are allowed apparently.
Golly, that's confusing.
Yeah, I gotta print out a cheat sheet or something for this.
Anyways, all right. Well, how about this? That's Mike's. Are we let's which one are we gonna do?
I mean, I like mine. What were your guys again? We were gonna do
Scream it out.
scream it out.
Scream
That one seems
therapy.
like the least amount of effort, besides the screaming part. And
Yeah,
Travis's was what was yours
change
again?
your own mind.
Change your mind.
That one sounds like a lot of work.
I think
Yeah,
gluten
brain work.
free would be the hardest one. That'd be like I'd have to spend a couple days to like figure out what I can buy.
I think it would be
So
worth trying so that we can have an educated and tested opinion about
So
it.
the
So
fact
when you're
yeah.
talking to your whoever that's gluten free, and you can say, ah, yes, I tried that. It was a bunch of nonsense. Or you could say, I tried that, and all of a sudden my movements have been just the
I
best.
was able to
Whatever.
levitate.
Yes, whatever.
I think the fact that we all got so opinionated and excited about the gluten thing, I feel like we should do that one.
yeah, I
I
I'm
mean,
begrudgingly in the same boat
I
as far as like it's
I
usually the
agree.
resistance is our compass here
Yeah,
is the things that we don't want to do is what we need to do.
yeah.
And I will say that I just bought 2 bags of frozen burritos that I was totally stoked about that I've been off the table for 2 weeks. So,
Is there
if
gluten in chili? Because I have like 3 cans of chili in my cupboard.
All right, here's I got the list pulled up. Here's what's allowed according to Mayo. Fruits and vegetables, beans, seeds, legumes, nuts in their natural unprocessed forms, eggs, lean non-processed meats, fish and poultry, and most low-fat dairy products. Let's see, grains, starches, or flours can be gluten-free. Then they list a whole bunch of them. Cornmeal, skipping over some hominy, millet, quinoa, rice,
those aren't real
soy.
words.
Rice and wild rice are allowed, apparently.
All
Okay,
right,
that's
I
good.
could probably do this. What about noodles?
I doubt it. There's probably gluten-free noodles that you can buy for an
But
exorbitant price,
I've bought
but
those accidentally and they're terrible.
Yeah, they're real bad. You
Yeah,
could
I
get rice. There's rice noodles. That's a thing.
just do rice.
Okay.
But to answer your initial question, I don't know. It says lean non-processed meats. Does that include beef? I don't know.
Lean.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, well, I suppose it's up to the individual. How far do you want to take it? But I personally would say like it's meat. It may be some gluten floating around in there, but it's still meat.
I'm gonna have to go. Because I eat out for lunch every day. I'm gonna have to be like, is this gluten free?
Well, luckily, everywhere you go has gluten-free options now. So,
There's a salad. I
Yeah.
just get salads every day, I guess.
you
Yeah.
gotta look at like the types of dressing. No croutons.
Oh, but I love croutons.
The
It's gonna suck.
sacrifice.
Yeah. All right. Is it decided we're
Yeah,
doing this one?
Yeah.
let's do stupid
Okay.
gluten.
Metric. So I think it should just be who lives the gluten-free lifestyle the best, and we'll have to debate it. You know what I mean?
Would accessories count? Like if I bought like Birkenstocks and like started having a satchel and
It wouldn't count against you.
okay.
That's what I'll
I'm
say.
just kidding. It's winter outside. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I think just keep track of the things you eat with gluten in it, and then we'll see who ate the least gluten, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way to do it.
I guess I'll give you this one, Mike. There's a lot to think about on this one because I don't know how to do this. So,
I know there's like a lot of podcasts and stuff that I have avoided like the plague until today.
yeah,
So,
the idea of listening to gluten-free podcasts
oh,
just
I know.
does not fill me with joy.
It does kind of bum me out a little bit. That's okay. It's part of it. That's
Hey,
part of
hey,
the
you
experience,
guys.
I guess.
There's people that are all about it, and we can be one of. We can do that. We can try it. We're gonna live it, and we're gonna learn to love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I will clarify that the people who need to be gluten-free, by all means, like we're not ragging on those people. It's the people that make gluten-free their religion who we are dunking on a little bit.
I yeah, but there's some real science about the like inflammatory properties of it that can like make your joints hurt, and for some people causes headaches. You know, I'm a kind of guy that gets headaches all the time, so if it helps with headaches, hey, that's something. It's nothing to
Sure.
sniff at. But I mean, we'll see if it actually does, but
If nothing else, at the end of this, we can say we tried it and we didn't see anything for it, and we can have reinforced our pre-existing notions.
or we can have them shattered, Travis. Shattered.
Possibly unlikely,
I was looking
but we'll
forward
see.
to like having like McDonald's for breakfast tomorrow.
You still can. You just can't have the good parts.
You can
Yeah.
just have them give you some eggs in a cup.
You
Well,
can have the hash
we gotta
browns.
come up with the honorific, you guys.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
honorific. The gluten gladiator.
See, I'm like
The
almost
glutenator.
opposed to making it sound cool because
The
morally, but
gluten
The glutenator.
gladiola. The glutenator. The gluticus.
Just stop that.
Gluticus.
Get out of here. No.
well, it's like
Get
it
out of
shouldn't
here.
be that we're like conquering gluten. It should that they
Gluten.
cower in fear from gluten.
Yeah.
I feel like a assassin, a gluten assassin or something.
The glute.
Or the wheat assassin.
Yeah, wheat. Wheat is another path we could go. The bread. Bread is another one.
Bread boy. The bread
The
box.
I'm looking up
I
I'm looking up synonyms for fear and seeing if there's something that I can what's a word when you mush two words together? You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, I can't think of it. I'm not sure. I was trying to think of a thing, and I almost had
I was
something,
gonna
but
say
it's gone now.
onomatopoeia, but that's not it. That's something else.
The
That's a word that
wheat
Yeah.
sounds
the wheat fleer. Fleer. Like
flea.
runawayer.
It doesn't quite
Fleer.
roll off the tongue, I don't think.
Wheat fleer. The wheat retreat. Retreater from Wheater.
The wee tweeter.
The wheat treater.
Wheatreater.
Wheatreater. It's-
The I
Wheatreater.
I mean it's pretty good. I want to not like it, but it is pretty good.
The wheat tweeter. No, that
The Wheatreater.
Wheatreater.
wheat treater.
You
That's pretty
retreat
good.
from wheat.
Retreat from wheat. Wheat retreat. I feel like it's almost there.
Yeah. What's another word for retreat? Route.
Oh, Dan. Processed foods that often contain gluten. In general, avoid the following foods unless they're labeled as gluten-free or made with corn, rice, or soy. Beer, number 1. Breads, cakes, pies, candies, cereals, cookies, croutons, french fries, gravy, hot dogs, salad dressing, sauces.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Guess you have to find some gluten-free beer.
I don't think that's a real thing.
There's like oat beer,
Yeah,
barley.
I'm sure
Does
there
barley
is.
have gluten? I don't know.
Let's think of an honorific.
Yeah, I'm quite stuck. I'm quite enamored with the Wheatreater.
I think that's better than people will understand. I
And
think like if
well,
people were the people that like already listen to the podcast will get it. I have no doubt about that. It's that if somebody's scrolling through and sees Wheatreater, like, what is that? This is dumb.
Yeah,
Which is
but
fine. That's
we're
true.
not trying to appeal to those people.
yeah, they're not. That's not our crowd. People listening to this right now, they're our
That's
crowd.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think I can't think of anything else now that we've
I
said wheat treater.
what now that that's out there, there's nothing else is measuring up. I think that's the one. I think that's it.
I just
Wheatreater.
want to type it out so that I can look at it to make sure that it's not unreadable. I mean, yeah, it
I mean,
looks strange, but
it
that seems
looks
fine.
pretty bad, but that's fine. I
All right.
mean,
Are we?
that was
That's
a
it,
really
right?
fast one if we're just gonna go with that.
That's all right. We can
With
be good at it sometimes. That's okay.
Season 2, like a well-oiled
That's
machine.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna churn these out. Let's just hit the next episode up.
Yeah. Oil change.
Let's do
These
two at a
gears aren't
time.
grinding anymore.
Do one with both
Uh,
hands.
all right. Let's talk forecast. Who is gonna fail?
I have like 5 loaves of bread within 10 feet of me.
I have
Yeah.
a completely empty kitchen right now, except for like 3 cans of chili, unless chili
Yeah.
has gluten.
You have to look at it. It probably most things these days say if they're gluten free or not. I like I said, I got all these burritos Lindsay just got for me. I'm gonna have to figure something else out.
I,
I suppose I could probably make some eggs to be ready for
Yeah,
tomorrow.
eggs are safe. I was thinking about like curry and rice or something like that, but I think the curry sauce probably has gluten in it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
probably
All right,
everything has
this is
gluten.
we may have bitten off more than we can chew.
Or not, because we're not gonna be able to chew anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're all
I have
gonna
no
fail.
idea. I
yeah,
think we're all gonna do bad. I'm gonna
we'll
go
see.
grocery shopping like in the next couple days, and it's gonna take me like 3 hours to go grocery shopping.
Yep.
This is gonna be good. It's gonna be like a crash gluten-free diet, and that you just don't eat food.
Yeah, it's an everything diet,
Just water and
not
I
bread,
guess just water. I don't know.
just water. Yeah. All right.
Apples.
Cool. All right. So we have our challenge, we have our metric, we have our honorific. Let's do this. I don't want to do this.
Hello there. It's me, Dan. How are you all? Thanks for listening to our show. Really appreciate it. Make sure to tell a friend about the show. It helps us out a bunch. Cheesecake here says hi to everybody. Couple things to talk about here. We are still doing the Polar Plunge, February 11th, Rochester, Minnesota. I don't think I mentioned this last time, but you can donate to our cause. You can just go to like the Rochester, Minnesota Polar Plunge, look up our names that we say at the beginning of the episode, and you can put money to our thing. It all goes to the charity for the Special Olympics. You can join us if you want, or you can just come watch us. It's going to be a good time. And let's see. We're still going to be doing where we say what the next challenge is at the end of this episode. We haven't gotten much negative feedback about it, so we're going to keep doing it until people tell us to stop doing it. We were kind of worried at first that it was going to be like spoilers for the next episode, but we also put the name of the thing as the title of the episodes. I don't know. If you don't like it, just let us know. We can stop doing it, but it's going to be there. You can always stop it maybe a couple seconds before the end of the episode, because that's where it's going to be. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Let's get back to us talking about not eating gluten and stuff. It's going to be, this is a wild one. Okay, bye.
Welcome back to the Perpetual Incompetence podcast. As a reminder, we recorded the first part of our podcast 2 weeks ago, and since then we've been abstaining from gluten. If you hear any eating noises during the course of this recording, it's because we've all just lifted the gluten embargo and we are happily filling our faces with it.
This is true.
Let's discuss our initial thoughts, and then we'll see who wins.
Well, maybe before we discuss our initial thoughts, we should get into what our jumping off the wagon treat was for ourselves. I personally am noshing down on some raspberry chocolate wafer cookies that are full of gluten in just the best way.
I ordered a large Domino's pizza with pepperoni, black olives, and mushrooms on it. And it arrived 40 minutes ago. And it's been sitting next to me, and I've been smelling it, and now I'm eating it, and it's great. It's the best.
And I have a Swiss cake roll and a Twix.
I'm gonna take all of this as you guys aren't gonna continue being gluten free.
It's well, let's get into it. Who wants to go first? Okay, let me swallow this cookie.
I'll go. I'll go first. It wasn't hard to not eat gluten.
Yeah,
I will say that it was not. I wasn't craving gluten. I didn't notice it gone. I think the only physical. So I weighed myself when like the night we started.
Yep.
I thought maybe I'll lose some weight. I don't know. I weighed myself just before we started recording. I am down 4 pounds, but I don't know if that's necessarily because I'm not eating gluten. I think it's because finding food to eat is more difficult.
Yes. This is going to go into something that I was going to talk about, but I agree with you.
I don't mind eating gluten-free food. Like there's a lot of really like fruits and vegetables. They're all gluten-free and they're all
forget about it.
Pretty good.
Mexican food.
Yeah. I ate like a whole bunch. I ate pretty healthy because like, I don't know, gluten. I don't know. I don't know the science, but to me it seems like gluten's not evil. It's the fact that gluten is in all the evil foods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
All the best food. And when I say best, I mean like worst for you, but best for your taste buds is
i.e. donuts,
and anything with
pizza.
bread or pasta. Bread and pasta are the best foods.
I don't think that they're necessarily bad for you though.
Yeah.
Like anything in moderation. Like I think that there's a sort of a fad against gluten because that's the big thing. Like it used to be eggs. Everybody used to say you're not supposed to eat too many eggs or whatever, and now the science has changed.
Eat all the eggs. Eat all the eggs.
Yeah.
Well, they're super expensive right now. I eat
there's
a
that
bunch
too.
of eggs, so.
But the point is that, like, it sort of seems like a fad as far as the anger against gluten. And again, reminding everyone that if the people that have a genuine gluten sensitivity or like a gluten problem or celiac disease, I feel for those people
Oh
because
man, I was
that
gonna
that would
say,
be not a good time.
yeah, I mean, like that's like grocery shopping takes like 3 times as long because you have to check every stupid label.
Yeah.
And also most of the things like any replacement gluten thing is like twice as expensive as
Yeah,
well.
this is true. I had to go to the fancy part of the supermarket.
Yeah, the part I
Like,
would never go. I don't think I've ever shopped there. That's where I had to
it's
do
like
all my
aisles that
shopping.
it just exists for me to say, "That's too expensive for me." Yeah.
I will say though, because I went there, I just kind of wanted to experiment. Like I went to the the organic
Yeah.
gluten free area. So I got like a bunch of like replacement things. I got mac and cheese. I got some like Mexican food stuff. Um, it was all pretty bad, I will say, except for the Hedgie's pizza.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They do a gluten free crust
Huh.
it's like made out of cauliflower. It was really good. It
Whoa.
was actually really good.
I've
Like
heard of this.
I will say it might even be better than the not gluten free one. Like it was
I mean,
really good.
I will say that Hedgie's Pizza, as far as like frozen pizza goes, it is one of the top tier. But I'm still gonna say it is cardboard pizza, so it's
Yeah.
not a high bar to get over.
Well, it was. I also I had actually. It's weird that I ordered pizza because it's not like I was craving pizza because I actually ate a lot of pizza, just gluten free. I actually had. I was out with some friends, and we are like, "Let's order pizza." I'm like, "Well, okay," but it was Pizza Luce, and they have a gluten free option. The same thing. It's made of cauliflower. It was fine. It was good. I don't know.
Hmm. I wouldn't imagine cauliflower would be the ideal replacement, but apparently it
Yeah,
works.
it's like in this weird middle ground between like, crispy thin crust pizza and like regular old pizza dough. It's like in
Hmm.
between there, so it's almost a little bit crunchy, but not like crunchy. I don't know. It's good. I like it.
All
I may
right.
have to try it. I'll try. I'll give it a go.
Give it a
Actually,
shot. I recommend it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that not eating gluten is not a hard thing to do mentally, except for all the extra time it takes
And all the
to
all the time you have to spend thinking about what you can eat.
Yeah,
yeah.
like reading labels and stuff like that.
I ended up just Googling, like, I eat out every day at work for lunch, and, I ended up just Googling every menu and seeing what was the gluten options. Luckily, there's a salad place that's alright, and everything there was gluten-free, so that
Oh,
was pretty
that's
handy.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I made a point to, 'cause I was trying to live that gluten-free lifestyle, so I made sure to tell everybody I talked to that I was gluten-free. Um, and
Within
then
the first
also
5 minutes of meeting them.
yeah, and any person that was serving me food, I made sure to mention to them that is this gluten-free? I'm going gluten-free. It was very rough at first, and I don't know, I just felt bad doing it, but then I
Did,
kinda got used to it.
did you sort of start to develop an air of superiority as you
No,
were
I would
then
say more of an air of, like,
shame?
Inferiority.
yeah, shame and meekness. I was just like, "Hi, I'm gluten-free. What can I
Sorry.
eat? Sorry." Yeah, like, honestly, because it's, like, annoying to people, like, okay, well, let's figure this out together, I guess," you know?
I'm laughing because I feel your pain.
Yeah, I guess I'll ask, did you is there any value here, do you think?
Well, okay, yes. So, well, again, I'm not it might just be correlation, but for the I feel like I've been letting myself go, and, like, I need to work out more and stuff and eat better, and, like, lately, I've been feeling, like, bloated after every meal,
Sure.
and since we started doing this, I haven't felt that once. So, I don't
Hmm.
know if that's anything, but that's
That is the
that's
thing that
yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
sorry.
what they say
I was-
not eating gluten does. You don't get bloated. and I
Nope,
haven't
the
felt
bloats.
bloated at all. So maybe that's a thing that happened, but we'll find out after this pizza I eat.
By the end of this podcast, we'll know.
Yeah.
Did you were you weak? Did you have any non-gluten, or did you have any gluten rather?
I as far as I know, I was pretty careful, and I don't think I ate a single shred of gluten this whole time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, unless something snuck in, but I was pretty darn careful.
Did you have
Okay.
any Asian cuisine? Because that has it in pretty much everything.
I did well, okay, so I went to Lian Chin is near where I work. I went there quite a bit for lunch because they have big gluten-free things next to what their gluten-free options are. Even like on their big menu behind where they serve you, it says this is
Did you
gluten-free.
use soy sauce at all? Because I know it's in
Nope,
soy sauce. All right.
nope. I just usually white rice, and then they have like, oh, they actually have a few options. So if you're going gluten-free, go to Lian Chin. They got some good options for you.
There you go. You heard it from Dan first.
Yep.
Uh, Travis, you want to go?
Sure. Um, I agree. This challenge wasn't hard particularly. It did seem to start to weigh on me. I mean, it's not hard to do. It became frustrating at how much of an impediment this challenge was to just eating casually. Like it absorbed too much of my brain, just like wondering if everything had gluten in it or trying to plan ahead for what I was going to have for a meal. It became frustrating. So I didn't enjoy that about this challenge. Um, Dessert seems to be where this challenge is its hardest. Because obviously baked goods are out and like cereal and like your entrees and your main course stuff, it's pretty easy to navigate not getting gluten in there. Like you said, rice or Spanish, Mexican food or whatever. Even curry and that sort of thing. But if you are someone who likes dessert, which I am frequently a fan of, I mean that like immediately removes all of your options except for like just plain old fruit.
Which is
Um,
not dessert.
right.
I'll die on that hill.
As far as dinner options that we did have early on, like this challenge was made easier for me early on in that Holly kind of took it as a challenge to make some of the dinners last week and this week gluten free, and just to see how it would go. So like on day 2 or 3 of this challenge, she made kind of like an Asian noodle pork thing, but she did with I think rice noodles, and she changed up. She didn't use soy sauce. She used something else, like an alternative, a gluten free option, and that was really good. And then she also made a lasagna with chickpea flour noodles, and that wasn't bad. You could tell that something was missing though. It's one of those alternative things where it's the texture is close and the taste is close, but it's kind of like an uncanny valley thing where you maybe it's in the fact that I knew that it was different, but I could just it didn't seem quite there. So it was okay, but you could tell there's a shortcoming in the noodle section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? There were some other ones I think. I did slip up. I mean, I consciously slipped up. Last weekend, I went up to my parents. We were processing the hogs for the year. So I left the house at like 5 a.m., stopped at a gas station to get breakfast and an energy drink or whatever. And, turns out gas station food is not hugely gluten free.
Yeah.
So they had like a breakfast scrambler. So I had that, and that didn't have any gluten in it. But usually I would have gotten like breakfast pizza. So instead of just like getting something and getting on the road, I got food and then had to like sit in my van for 10 minutes and eat breakfast and then start driving, which is different from usual. And then I got to my parents' house and my mom had made coffee cake. And I am of the opinion that life is too short to pass up my mom's coffee cake. So I definitely enjoyed that. There was also scotcheroos there, so had one of those too. And I'm not ashamed to say it.
I don't blame
And
you.
then let's see, last Sunday we had gone to church, and then we were usually we'll get something for lunch or whatever, and we had stopped Um, I thought that Arby's had like salads or something like that. Or no,
Arby's.
sorry. Yeah, to take a step back. I don't know. Turns out they don't, but we'll get there. There's a Mexican place in town here. It's called Red Green Burrito, and they're phenomenal.
They are.
But it turns out they're closed on Sundays. So my big plan was to get a burrito bowl from there, but they were closed, so I had to go somewhere else. Arby's was nearby, and I thought that they had salads, but they don't. So then I just went home and didn't have that food. Just ate at
Yeah.
home.
I ended up doing that a lot where I'm just like, oh man, I could go for this, and then you like, oh wait, no, I guess I'm not eating.
There is nothing for me
There's
here.
nothing. I guess I'll be
I
hungry right now.
So then let's see, Mike, maybe you have something on this too, but this last week we did like a team happy hour. So we went to a bar for drinks, and I had done some research beforehand as far as what gluten-free options there were at bars. And turns out ciders or hard ciders are usually a safe bet. So I had ordered a blueberry hard cider, which is actually much better than I expected.
It was good because
So
I got the same one because I was sitting next to Travis, and I figured if he got that one, at least I couldn't be count against me.
I was at a bar the other day for our rock and roll show, and that was probably the time I felt the most shame saying, "Do you have any gluten-free options?" I got some vodka watermelon thing as like a seltzer, but that was not good. I can tell you that right now. And it said in big words on the front of the can it was gluten-free, so I felt
So you
safe with that.
made
yeah,
sure to flash that around the bar.
Yeah.
showing off.
The problem with that is it kind of removes some legitimacy from your band a little bit. The drummer.
Maybe.
They're pretty good, but the drummer's gluten free, so
There was like a record executive there that was going to sign you guys, and like, oh, I don't get down with that.
that's where I draw my line.
So then that night we did that, and then I went home, had dinner, and then without thinking about it, after dinner, there's a little candy dish on my desk, and I ate a little mini Twix afterwards without even thinking about it, and I didn't realize it until the next day that was off limits. So I have 3 marks against me in that category. Um, Overall, the challenge made me appreciate not having to think about what I eat and being purely impulse driven and not having to worry about allergies or sensitivity or anything. So there is that benefit, I guess.
Yeah.
It has made me appreciate just, being able to eat whatever, and that's a delightful thing. Today I learned that corn tortillas are not an acceptable substitute for flour tortillas. Because again, like was by the end of this challenge, I was pretty annoyed with the whole gluten free thing. I think we all were kind of getting there. Um, I genuinely think that doing this challenge made me a little bit more irritable. I don't think that that's due to lack of gluten. I think it's more just brain effort and having to dedicate to thinking about food and not being able to eat. Like, I guess I'll mention in the first part of this, I mentioned that I had like 5 loaves of bread within 10 feet of me. That was not a joke nor an exaggeration. My wife bakes bread a lot, and sometimes we sell it to people or whatever. There is still a whole bunch of bread, and I think the combined weight of like seeing fresh baked bread near me constantly and not being able to eat, there's like biscuits and gravy at work and a million delicious gluten options that I had to pass up. I think by the end of this challenge, I was like a little bit, I don't know, not on edge. That's an exaggeration, but irritable, I guess we'll go with. Um,
I'd like to bring up something about those fresh baked loaves that Holly was making. So day one, that Monday after we recorded, or it was Monday when we recorded, so the Tuesday, I came to work and in my cubicle was a fresh baked loaf of bread, like just looking absolutely delicious.
mhm,
And
Did
then
Travis plant that?
he did
I
indeed.
did. Yeah.
And
That
he's
was one
like,
of the loaves that I mentioned on
yeah.
the beginning
But
part of
then,
this.
so day two,
Trying to
another loaf,
sabotage you.
another loaf appeared on my desk. He said he wasn't trying to bring me down, but
I
I
wanted
don't,
you to experience the same
I
temptation that I
don't
had
believe
to.
you. Well, I actually this morning We kept one of the loaves until just I don't know, it was yesterday. But I made a giant breakfast of eggies in a basket. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Basically, you cook an egg and you put a piece of bread on top of it. It was sourdough, so it's especially delicious.
Isn't that what the guy
Uh,
made in V for Vendetta?
Yeah, I
uh,
think so.
yeah,
Nice.
It's been a while.
yeah, sure. But anyway, so I did this giant, delicious breakfast with fresh baked bread for my family, and I had I had eggs, which was fine, but been having a lot of eggs this
Yeah.
past couple weeks, so yeah, I yeah, thanks, Travis.
Yeah,
That's
you're welcome. You got to enjoy the same temptation. And there's definitely something to the frustration of, like, I made my kids breakfast this last weekend, and like making toast and making eggs and toast, and all of this fresh delicious bread we're like making for our kids, and it was just always there. And it is like a special layer of frustration where you have to like prepare the bread for someone else, and you get to
yeah.
like smell it, and it's like, oh, this looks pretty good. Nope, can't eat it. So yeah, overall, this challenge wasn't. I don't think it was hard, but it also wasn't of any benefit to me. I didn't notice any lack of bloating or otherwise. I don't usually notice anything like that. I don't think so. I thought it was kind of a huge waste of time, and other than learning that I should appreciate not having dietary restrictions, I didn't get much out of this one.
Would you say you ate healthier?
Yes. Again, probably because of the lack of dessert and just what it eliminates is your bread options, right? So
Yeah.
I think you're right with the things that are bad generally have gluten in them.
Well,
Not to say that all gluten is bad, but it did prevent me from eating, you know, things that are not hugely beneficial to me.
Well, and wheat is just a super high calorie food. I mean, that's why people eat it. Is because it kept humans alive for millennia.
Yeah, but
That's
also we're not like running through the woods chasing wild boars or anything,
this is true, but we could be. You know,
Yeah.
If we were living our best life.
yeah. Uh, is it was that your?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I did not enjoy this challenge, and I hate you, Mike.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, I guess we'll jump into mine. So the first couple days of this, I'm kind of with you guys. It wasn't difficult to do. It was just kind of annoying every time I went to go eat something. Um, Sounds like you guys kind of immediately either had a bunch of stuff available or went grocery shopping. I did not go darken the door of a grocery store until Friday, this last Friday, like 2 days ago. So I was basically working with what we had at home. Uh, Lindsay had gone to the grocery store, but it was before we started the challenge, so there was nothing gluten free. Luckily for me, I am a cheese connoisseur, aficionado, maybe.
Yeah, I ate a
Sure.
lot of cheese.
Yeah,
Yep. Dairy.
I ate cheese every day. I would say maybe 50% of the days I had cheese and crackers, some sort of charcuterie for my supper.
Did you get gluten-free crackers?
I did. I got a rice crackers. That's what I picked. Well, that's what I picked up when I went to the store on Friday. I went there for more cheese and delicious meats and crackers. So that's basically what I've been surviving on. That oatmeal and rice. So that's
That
what.
sounds so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about
How's your intestines, Mike?
well,
It, it's
okay.
high in fiber.
We're
Oatmeal's
we're
good
getting
for you.
yeah we're getting there. Yeah, oatmeal's
Okay.
very good for you. It lowers cholesterol. That soluble fiber, you know. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, it was fine. What I discovered some things. Speaking of healthy diet, if you get like regular crunchy tacos from Taco John's, they're gluten free. So I went to Taco John's, I
What?
think 5 times.
That's a
Five,
good idea. I didn't
yeah.
think about that at all. I was thinking like there is no fast food option around me. I didn't even consider that
You
hard
are
shells are
wrong, sir.
allowed.
No,
What about
I googled that like immediately because
I could have been eating Taco John's this whole time.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I just
I
ate
feel the
Taco
same
John's the whole
way.
time. So you got to get the crunchy tacos. That's the important part.
Nah, they're not as good though.
That's true.
I don't know. Every little nugget that I had was just a little piece of heaven. That's what I say. They also have
You can't beat a flour tortilla.
they also got potato olays, which is just fried potatoes. Those are fine too.
But does that fried thing, does that have gluten in it?
That according to the website, it does not, but they do not guarantee that there's no gluten in it, which is I take as gluten free. So,
Fair
um,
enough.
so let's see. As far as benefits that I notice, I would say I ate horribly. As far as like, I probably like doubled my normal calorie intake because I wasn't eating sandwiches and I was eating cheese and meat and and rice, which is also a super high caloric food. So yeah, and oatmeal too. Oh, they're all really high calories. So, but I will say I kind of agree. I feel because I actually have some stomach issues, and I felt less bloaty, maybe a little bit, marginally. I tried to kind of not look up what the expected results of this would be, so that I could just say this, just experience my body in the way that I felt.
Sure.
So, um, one thing that I've heard people say is that it helps with headaches and that kind of thing because their gluten is supposed to kind of inflame things. And I would say I get migraines and that didn't change. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say that's bunk. But I will say since I started jujitsu, my body's been basically in a constant state of pain for about a year now, and my joints feel a little rubberier. So like maybe they feel a little better. Those are that's the one thing that I would say is kind of a takeaway is the joints do feel a little better. So
Huh.
that's good. Let's see. As far as the foods that I tried, I kind of told you about that. But one thing I discovered: gluten-free Oreos are on point.
Yeah.
There is no distinguishable difference between them and the normal ones. Yeah, they're like exactly the same. So I had a bunch of Oreos as well. So I went to a couple restaurants and I tried to do my research before I went in there, so I didn't have to talk about gluten in front of anybody. But I went to the bar and with Travis, like we were talking about, and I had to tell everyone, like, yeah, I'm going gluten free, so I can't try that because somebody was saying you should try this beer, and then everybody just looked at me, and I felt shame. Felt like a bad person. It made everyone uncomfortable. And then the same thing, a guy that we work with came up and offered me a brownie. He had like a plate of cookies and brownies, and I grabbed one, I picked it up, and I set it back down, and I said, "No, sir, not this day."
Wow, it's so strong.
Yeah. So,
The challenges we face.
uh, so then so that's it. I did not touch a drop of gluten except day one after recording that morning. I cooked and ate a frozen burrito before I remembered that we were doing a challenge.
I had I'm pretty sure I didn't eat any, but I definitely had a lot of almost slip ups like that. I was like about to do
Yeah,
something like, oh no,
Yeah, gluten's
yeah,
sneaky like
it
that.
is.
and it's kind of
I
all
had
over the
warmed
place.
up a can of chili, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my sour cream and my saltines in there to thicken it a little bit. Like, oh wait, saltines are no good
Yeah.
because
Corn chips
they're
would have been fine though.
yeah. I didn't have corn chips. I should have gone to the grocery store. I didn't.
Well, when we started, like when we recorded the first half of this, I think I had only rice in my cupboards, like and a couple cans of chili, one of which was gluten free and the other one is not. So that was it's still in there. I haven't eaten it. But I
Safe now.
when I went to the grocery store to like load up, I didn't have time to like look up ingredients, so I just got a bunch of like microwave things. And
That
I
said it
got
on
like
the box.
Yeah, like in the gluten-free section, and
Hmm.
I got just a bunch of different things just to kinda try it, like cauliflower rice and broccoli, and I don't know, some of them were alright, but I got this one is like this pasta something, I was like, "Oh, wow, this is gluten-free, okay." And then I got home and I was kinda, I was going through them, and I picked that one up and I was about to put it in the microwave, and I noticed that it was not gluten-free. It was just organic, and I was like, "That was so close." It's still in my
Bullet
freezer.
dodged.
Yeah, it's like the one thing I haven't eaten. Okay, and you know what? This is a, public service announcement for the world. The Annie's brand gluten-free vegan mac and cheese, it looks like Kraft mac and cheese. It's not, and it's awful, and no one should ever buy it, and they should go out of business. It's awful. It's the worst thing I've ever had. It's so
We
bad.
actually buy their other stuff, which is pretty good.
Yeah, their regular mac and cheese is quite good.
Yeah.
Well, their vegan mac is not.
Well, good to know.
It's because
Can
it's
it?
unnatural, probably.
I
Can we
don't know.
Who
talk a
knows
little
what they
bit?
had to do?
Can we talk a little bit about that section of the grocery store? I know we've kind of touched on it here a little bit, but did anybody feel like when they started going through those aisles that they did not belong there? Like the
Yeah.
other people in there were kind of looking at you like, "What are you doing here, you peasant?" Yeah, I was, I
I I
was in there.
I don't know, the Cub Foods that I go to is in a part of town that's, confusing, and it's the type part of town where not that many people go to that section, I think.
Okay.
So everyone was looking at me like, "Oh, there's somebody shopping in that section? Oh,
Ooh, ritzy.
look at this fancy
Look at
boy
this with
over
his
here."
vegan mac and cheese. Li- like a king looking down at us.
But they walk by with, like, their 6 12 packs of Pepsi, you know?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. That's the same. It's the same vibe I get when I go to like the Whole Foods or Trader Joe's
yeah.
places. It just everybody looks at me and they're like, this guy doesn't come here.
You
This
don't
isn't
belong
his.
here.
He's not
Who
one
let
of
him
us.
in here?
You get out of here. Go back to your own people.
Yeah. Go back to the
Yeah,
dollar store. That's where you belong. You're
there's some children's cereal on the floor over there for you. Go eat that.
some. We accidentally got a shipment of Captain Crunch. You may have that, but please leave.
It's in the dumpster in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like I said, I didn't go to the grocery store specifically for gluten-free stuff, so I didn't have that experience, but yeah, I can imagine. I was sitting right next to you when you announced to the table that you were trying gluten-free, and there were some looks for sure.
This yeah, I don't know what it is exactly, but there's kind of a like, oh, one of those guys, huh?
I thought you
Yeah.
were a reasonable person.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's not like a bad thing necessarily. Like when
No.
somebody says that, it's just like this is something now. This is a new thing about this person that I have to think about all the time.
Well, I think it's because, if somebody announces that at the table, people are like bracing themselves like, "Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Here
you're gonna
comes the
start
talk."
talking about it. You
Like
talk about the
somebody that
benefits of it and
it's the same
everything.
person, like if somebody's, a CrossFitter or something like that, like, "Oh, here we
Yeah,
go. This is the rest of the conversation now."
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not really the announcement that's the problem, it's all of the follow-up that happens to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of tried to embody that person. I was trying to I mean, I would try to, like, dive into this one and be like, "I'm gonna be that guy that talks about being gluten-free," and let me tell the people that I've talked to can probably attest to this. Um, I mean, not right now because 'cause they're not here, but, I definitely have been talking about being gluten-free a lot these past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of on purpose, but also because it's on my mind, and the more I talk about it, the more I remember that I'm not supposed to eat gluten, so it sort of was, it helped me out.
All right, well, I we can hash it out, but I think you win, Dan.
I think
Both
Dan
for
takes this
your
one.
embodiment of the ideal and for your lack of
He
gluten intake.
Yeah,
he lived the lifestyle.
I'm, pretty happy with myself that I'm almost 100% positive about any gluten until, 10 minutes ago or whenever we started recording.
Way to go, Dan.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
thanks. What does that make me? What
Well, I'll
The
tell you what that makes you. That makes you the Wheatreater.
Oh,
Aren't you glad?
I guess so.
I had before we were recording, I had pulled up my notes just to have them ready, and Holly was sitting here, and she's like, "What is that? What's that? That's the name? Wheatreater." Also, Eve is in the background yelling. So, hello, Eve.
Fine. Hi, Eve. She's adorable.
So we'll see if people understand what this title means.
You have to have a high IQ to really understand it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you have
our
to shop
list,
in the Whole Food section in the store to understand it.
our listeners are above average, and we've all come. I think they're all aware of this, so
Yeah,
it'll be
That's
fine.
true.
for sure.
All right, any closing thoughts on this one before we
Just
put a gluten-free bow on it?
I think, if you want to try it, go for it. Some people say it's a thing. I don't know. I'm not going to continue doing it. Well, actually, I retain the right to like if I just go whole hog tomorrow and eat an entire pizza and I feel like garbage, that may be telling. So I retain the right to change my mind, but I think it's kind of meh. That's what I got to say about it.
Yeah, I think unless you suspect that gluten is causing you dire digestive issues, there's no real reason to try going gluten-free, I don't think. I think that it can lead there's tangential benefits if you try to do this, and that it forces you to eat slightly healthier, but I don't think that the trade-off is worth it. Just eat normal food in moderation unless you have an actual reason to avoid gluten. That's my 2 cents. And now announcing the Wheatreater, Dan Collins, for his last words.
Well, thanks, guys. I just want to say if you're having a conversation with somebody and then they mention that they are eating gluten-free, just be aware that being gluten-free takes a lot of work, and they have to do a lot of research and devote a lot of their brain energy to it. So just give them a break and listen to them talk about how great being gluten-free is. You did great. Next time on Perpetual Incompetence.
The Colossus of man boobs. Right?
Also, next time on Perpetual Incompetence.
So, what I think we should do is we try to do cumulatively the most push-ups.